And welcome everybody. Welcome back to Growing Up Kayfabe. It has been a minute. We are back with editing software. We're good to go. Still in the same cluttered ass room, but you know what? So much has gone on in the wrestling world. It's just as cluttered, and I can only declutter so much in here. I decided, why not straighten out some things in the wrestling world, okay? So it's coming up on SummerSlam. Everybody knows that's prime time podcasting for wrestling. So your boy's got to throw his hand in the ring. We have to get that content out there to you guys. Just be one of the many wrestling podcasts that you're going to be listening to all this weekend with all the takes. And here at Growing Up Kayfabe, you know that we have the hottest takes. We do not subscribe to any wrestling purists. We do not subscribe to anybody else's thoughts. We sure as shit don't subscribe to getting signed to anything, so we get to say exactly how we feel as we're saying it, okay? And I've had some days to stew on some of the topics that we're going to be doing today, all right? Before we get into it, thank you for watching this episode. It's my first one back in a while. I really miss doing this now that we have the editing software back. I plan to be back regularly on the week, every Monday, with an episode covering the past week's content of wrestling, getting you caught up for that Monday Night Raw. That being said, go down to the show notes below. You can skip ahead to any point of any major topic that we'll be covering, so you can skip ahead to, you don't have to watch the whole episode if you don't want. Hit the like button. That goes an extremely far way for me. Commenting is the best you can do, is the biggest thing you can do, and I appreciate that, staying active in the comments. Or share it out to a wrestling friend or family member in your life. Subscribe as well. I don't know if I said that part or not. So, here's the thing. Okay? This episode is coming off of a few days from Terry Bollea's death. Now, why am I saying Terry Bollea? Because if you watch this podcast at all, or if you're new to it, you'll know now. You know that we do not have any respect for Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan. See, here's the thing. That's what he would want to be called. He'd want to be called Hulk Hogan, right? Oh, the legacy. People will remember the wrestler. Well, I don't. I don't want to remember him as the wrestler. And I don't really like him as the wrestler either. So I'm not going to give him the respect that he would want to be called Hulk Hogan. He's Terry. That's Terry Bollea. So throughout this episode, throughout this podcast, throughout all the episodes combined, if you ever hear us talking about a Terry, and if it's in a spiteful way, you better believe it is the one and only that you'll be thinking of as Hulk Hogan, but hopefully as the households will now know him as Terry Bollea. Terry Bollea died at 71. I think it was due to heart complications. He passed out. Obviously, he's not in good health. He's never really been in good health for the past 20 years. It's no surprise to me. Okay, I have gripes about his death, and it is mostly with the wrestling fan base. When it comes to WWE, I cannot expect them to not acknowledge Hulk Hogan's death. Okay, I cannot expect them to not do Hulk Hogan memorials and things like that. Okay, but when it comes to a fan base, people who have shit on Terry for so long, and all of a sudden he dies, and the second he died, I knew exactly what was going to happen. It's what a normal human base does when somebody dies that you don't like, is that just depending on what kind of person they are, you give them leeway after death. You go, well, they're dead, and they might have had some sin, they might have had some demons in them, but you shouldn't speak will of the dead like that. And it's like, true, that's fair, right? Like, if you didn't like some dude because he snubbed you at the job, or some guy in high school beat you up, or something like that, and then they die years later, months later, however long, and your first thought is good because of that thing, that is not a good thing to think. This is not good. That means you need to solve out some issues in your life, because that's not something you should be holding, right? But for example, there are horrible people in this world that when they die, we don't go, well, it's best to think of what they did do great. We don't go, John Wayne Gacy didn't die, get put to death, and we didn't go well, at least he made scary clowns, at least he brought some terror to clowns. Why would you do that? Not even his family members, whoever would be around him, would be well, I like to remember the guy who had the barbecues. And it's and what was he doing at those barbecues, That's the point. It's anything with Terry, it all leads back to bad things, okay? So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to say exactly the biggest reason why it's okay to talk about Terry past death in a negative way. And I'm also going to let you know that the Hulk Hogan that you think, oh, well, I'm just going to think about the wrestler Hulk Hogan. I'm just going to think about his moments. Why none of that matters, okay? So let's start with that. Let's start with the fact that everybody gets to go at this point. They're just trying to do the whole, I separate the wrestler from the person. I know he did some bad things and said some stuff, but, his matches, man, were incredible. I think that all of you should keep that, genuinely. I have in my heart, I really believe that all of you who remember Hulk Hogan versus Warrior, Hulk Hogan versus Rock, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, like, you should keep those memories, because that's the best it is ever going to get when it comes to the memories of him. I'll even be honest and throw my hand in the ring and say, I think it's hat in the ring, I keep saying hand. And I'll say that mine's Shawn Michaels versus Hogan, and even that's rooted in some bullshit. That match is memorable to me because of what Shawn Michaels did. And at the time, when I thought Hulk Hogan was the man, I thought that match was incredible. And let's talk about that match, right? Hulk Hogan doesn't like that match because Shawn did over dramatic. People, Shawn oversold. Shawn did way too much. Shawn stands by. Shawn has admitted to things he's done wrong in the past, and he stands by that match to say, I sold like I would sell for any big man, like he has in the past. And to be honest, up until like last year, I didn't believe that. I was like, no way. But he sells like that for Kane and the Undertaker. He sold like that for Triple H sometimes. He sold like that over the top. And here's the thing. I don't know if anybody just wants to deny it or anything, or what they were feeling, or what the case may be. When I was a kid watching SummerSlam 06, Hogan versus Michaels, when I had no idea, what this could possibly mean. I'm sitting there watching it with my 40-year-old father, and I'm like, man, Hulk Hogan's the dude. Like, he's hitting Shawn, and Shawn's going to Kansas and back. Like, Shawn doesn't stand a chance in here. Like, he's taking headbutts, and he's flying. Look at the way he flings up the turnbuckle. That's insane. Which, find out later, that's how he sells regularly for that. That was my first time seeing it, and I'm like, that's Hulk Hogan so strong. It achieved exactly what Shawn wanted to achieve with that. But no, Terry had to be all like, oh, it didn't work for me, brother. I don't like the way you sold for me out there. You overdid it. He did it on purpose. He made me look silly. He made me look goofy. And I'm like, no, it made you look exactly how strong you want to look regularly, Hulk. That's how strong you want to be. So Shawn gave you that. And let's not forget the backstage politics in that Shawn would have easily lost to him, which he did. Shawn would have lost to him twice if Shawn could have just won once in a best of 3. That's all that mattered to Shawn. That's all that mattered, was that he wanted to win once out of a best of 3. And everybody in the writer's room, everybody on the board loved that idea, except for Terry. Terry didn't like it. Terry said, nope. Classic line. He hit him with that doesn't work for me, brother. And there you go. We got the one and done match at SummerSlam 06, which is memorable to me because of how good Shawn made that match and the build up. He went on Larry King and pretended to be Hulk Hogan, and I think he super kicked Larry King. That's crazy, crazy work. But none of it had to do anything with Terry. You talk about anything Terry's ever done, the best contribution he's ever made to wrestling wasn't even in WWF or WWE. It was in WCW when he did NWO. And again, he wasn't even alone in making that cool. And when I think NWO, I think of Scott Hall. I think of Kevin Nash. I don't think of Hulk Hogan all the time. I know he's a part of it. I know he's like the pivotal point, but I don't think that. I think Kevin and Scott, the dudes, the big guys. Like, I just... You talk about anything Terry's done when people are like, he's made such contributions to this business. I mean, sure, they definitely would have found somebody else. Luger wasn't a great choice. Warrior was kind of out of his fucking head. But they would have found somebody else eventually. And again, it's a point to say that they did. Twice. They found The Rock and Stone Cold. Like, very soon after all that. And again, at the biggest height of Hulk Hogan wasn't even fucking Hulkamania. It's NWO and WCW. So at the height of his biggest shit, WWE wasn't even fucking getting anything from that. So the biggest thing they got was Hollywood, or was Hulkamania. It's just him screwing over the Undertaker with the finisher move, the lies about Brock Lesnar, the uncountable lies this man has told. That if you're trying to be like, well, Hulk Hogan the wrestler was the man, sure, that tells me you like a dude who went out there every night, and because him and the writers team had the same mindset, he won time and time and time and time and time again. And if he was really that big, if he was really the GOAT like that back then, right? Then how come everybody was craving Ultimate Warrior? How come everybody wanted so badly for Luger to be the guy? And then they just didn't work. You wouldn't have been craving that if Hogan was working the whole time. He stopped working. It stopped being. It's just like John Cena, but with less time. John kept that going for 10 plus years. Hogan could barely keep that going for that long. I don't know what you guys see in this man when it comes to a wrestler. I like I said earlier, I understand the nostalgia, the moments that you remember. Hold on to that. But don't sit there and tell people and lie to people's faces saying that he's a good guy because of that. Because he's not. He is simply not. And he's not even close to being one of the best wrestlers. He's not good technically. He had a leg drop of which he complains about all the time. If you're gonna, people have the, oh, and when Hulk would drop that leg, talk to him about it. Well, you can't anymore. But if you talk to him about it, he doesn't even he gets upset. He doesn't like it. He's like, oh, well, brother, that took years off my life and all this stuff. It had nothing to do with, and granted, yes, that did damage to his body, just like anything does in wrestling for people. But oh no, the drugs and alcohol and abuse of your sleep and work ethic had nothing to do with any of it. No. It was you dropping that leg. Look at the Make-A-Wish thing he did. He thinks it's funny because he's like, I did it all for the money, brother. He thinks it's cool now that he'll lean into the being like the real bad person that people think he is. And it's like, no, you're just that. You're just finally saying what we've been saying, and you're saying it in a joking way as if it's not true, but it is true, which makes it worse. So either way, either you're actually admitting it or you're joking and is making it worse. That's the guy that you guys want to be like, dude, his wrestling matches were so good. And they're not. Watch any Hogan match. The only reason that you can like any of his matches is him slamming Andre, which again, that had already happened. Andre had already been slammed. Our big guys have already been slammed at that time. They lied to you and made you think that that was the one and only time it had ever happened. It wasn't. So there you go. It's all dreams. It's fugazi. It's not there. It's not real. It's just give it up. And for people to really kind of accept that, and then because he's dead, be like, oh, remember? I'm like, yeah, I remember the bullshit. I remember it was all whack. I would genuinely, and I say this as a person who does not like these wrestlers, I would rather watch Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund. Those guys are wrestling guys. And I have no disrespect for them by saying that I wouldn't want to, like, that I would rather. I'm just saying, like, those are guys that don't get in the same conversation as Hulk Hogan in a wrestling world. Now let's finish off by telling you exactly why is it okay. It is totally okay for you to say any negative thing under the sun about Terry Bollea. Okay? We don't need to get into genuine specifics, right? You guys get it. He's had racist tyrants on tirades and rants, mixed them up, on multiple different occasions, okay? He had one bullshit apology, not even in public, but to the locker room, to which the locker room literally was like, it seemed fake. Guys like Kofi and Xavier and a bunch of other men were like, it seemed like he just like said it because he was told to say it. Not a soul in the locker room came back believing it. They all reported that it seemed fake. So he gave one lousy apology for being racist on multiple occasions, and it wasn't even real. Okay? So you take that, right? Then you then add in the weird that he is, and the just like the horrible example he is of a person, okay? At that age, it's like, at some points, when you didn't know everything about him, sure, you could be like, man, party it up, Terry, that's what you do. At your age, that's crazy, man. But realistically, like, he had 2 kids, man. He had, like, grandkids coming up. Like, he needed to be a better role model for people. He had things going on. Like, all we were seeing was an old man descending further into a crisis that he could not escape. And the more his friends died around him, it seemed to get worse and worse. And then we all knew that because we all have social media, all kinds of shit to track that type of thing. And then he gets on cameras and podcasts and then tells you that he's religious and he's been sober for months, when in fact he hasn't been. Okay? He's a liar. He's a racist. And let us not forget the number one most important detail as to why this is okay. And why nobody, in my opinion, nobody should be making tributes videos for this man, okay? Let me preference what I'm about to say by saying Kevin Nash and a couple of different dudes who are close with Hogan, of course they're going to stand up for him, right? Duh. But something they've all been saying that's really stuck out to me is that, and I wait for it too. I wait for them to say it, is they go, Bischoff was one to say it, that's right. What would you guys think if it was one of your family members? Think about his family and his friends right now and how they feel. If you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it. Okay. All right. That seems fair. But let's go back to the first drunk driving accident of his son, Nick. His piece of shit son, Nick, who, by the way, just kept being a piece of shit afterwards. And Hogan and Terry just gave him everything. Gave him a show, gave him money, gave him jobs, gave him everything. Kept him out of jail all the time. But let's go back to that first accident. Killed his friend in the drunk driving accident. Should be in jail for life. Okay? In jail on the phone call. One of the first people he talks to, I'm assuming, if not the first, is Terry. And if you guys don't remember, go watch Turkey Tom's video on Nick Hogan. I believe it's Nick, because I know he does one for Terry as well. But either way, just look them both up. Watch them both. Shouts out Turkey Tom. Go watch those, or just go look up the phone call. YouTube the phone call right now between Nick and Terry in the jail, where you can hear Terry, quote, saying, you know, brother, I knew that kid, and, you know, you told me about him, and he just seems like a real bad kid, and, you know, I know you told me he got into a lot of different stuff, like drugs and stuff, and, you know, he just wasn't right with God, brother, and, you know, that it shows, you know, he must have had something going on with him, and that's why that happened. Blames the fact that the kid was not right with God for dying because his son drunk drove killed him. But no, you're right. It's God's fault. So imagine, Terry, how that kid's parents and family and friends must feel hearing that from somebody who is directly related to the person that just killed their son and family member and friend. But no, we just forgot about that, right? We were just cool with that, right? Everybody's just okay with that? So the next time somebody tells you that you can't say something negative about Terry Bollea because he's dead now, say fuck you and fuck him and tell them this exact story. And then continue on. Don't let them repeat. Don't let them respond. Continue on the tirade and remind them of every single thing, wrestling and out of wrestling, that Terry has ever done to be an absolute piece of shit of a human. We don't sit there and say Hitler was great. We don't sit there and say that Gacy was great. We don't sit there and say that just random people drunk drive and murder multiple people all the time. They die and then we call them pieces of shit. So I hope that you out there who stick up for Terry and remember him for his matches, I hope you feel really, really good and nostalgic as you support somebody and you think that his death is better than greater than anybody else's. And I'm sorry to get so heavy. I know I get you can ask anybody who knows me, I get real hot about Terry. Do not like this motherfucker. And I just knew that I knew when he died that two things were going to happen. One, everybody who was on the fence about not liking him and who only kind of didn't like him was immediately going to go back to liking him. Knew that for a fact. Second thing I knew was that WWE was going to immediately play the longest package they have ever played for anybody, and I was right. 20 minutes on Monday, that first, or was it Friday? Because Friday was the first night. 20 minutes. I kept saying, even in Afterlife, this man's stealing people's time. It's insane. And what makes it worse is they did it for all three shows. They did it Monday and Tuesday for no fucking reason. Played a 20-minute package on each night. Wasted time. Fuck him. And shout out CM Punk, who's sitting there fucking really trying not to look angry or upset that he had to be out there. Shouts out to it. And I don't know the employee on NXT. I think it's a wrestler that I'm not too sure of, or whoever. Or maybe they said his real name and I don't know the wrestling name. but he also made a stand that they made him take down his tweet saying things, pretty much saying what I'm saying about how they shouldn't have to be out there mourning Terry for anything. So really excited to be back. As Eric Bischoff's song says, I'm back and I'm better than ever. But that being said, we're not just going to end the episode off on just that negativeness about Terry. I'm trying to get this out by Friday, so hopefully this will be out by then. If not, the day of SummerSlam, so you're either watching this right before SummerSlam or as SmackDown's going on or right after SmackDown. So thank you again for watching. I hope you're enjoying all the shows. I know I am. Wrestling has been crazy good right now. That's something I'm going to talk about in the next few videos, about how the social media in the world of wrestling has been very wishy-washy and back and forth. I think it's held on a lot stronger than I anticipated, than anybody anticipated it would after 40. But it definitely has. I have my opinions on it. That being said, SummerSlam is this weekend, so let's talk about it. All right, SummerSlam 2025, MetLife Stadium, New Jersey. Let's start with day one. We're just going to go ahead and give predictions on things here and how I'm feeling about some of these matches. Just a real quick rapid fire rundown, as rapid fire as I can get, because on the show I be rambling. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Fuck yeah. So glad to see Karrion Kross on a PLE. I agree with my podcast Tribal Chief Sam that Karrion, I hope he gets a PLE entrance, big PLE entrance. Give him something nice. The fans are fully behind Karrion. You gotta push him. And I hope he gets the dub too. I think it's 1-1 right now between them. And I know Sammy gets the crowd pop and he does it. Just push Karrion. If you're going to use one person to elevate the other, I think you should elevate Karrion right now. It just makes the most sense. Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Randy Orton versus Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Drew still not in America right now, as far as we know. He may not make it back, and if you're following any news or however it's going right now, it could possibly be The Miz with Logan, which I'm glad that's the find. Could have been anybody and it would have been pretty exciting. They probably would have made it work, but that's a perfect pick. And shouts out The Miz for offering that, hearing the situation, and immediately cutting an online promo in order to make it be known that he will be that guy. If I had to pick a winner for that, I'm going to say, I think you're going to try to make Jelly Roll win. I mean, it just makes the most. I don't think you're just bringing Jelly Roll in to lose, but Jelly Roll's super into it. And when they're super into it, sometimes they'll come back for more, so they'll take an L. Women's tag team title match. If this was any other women's tag team, I would say that that the Judgment Day is going to keep the tag team belts. But because it's Charlotte and Alexa, double star power, put them together. They've been crushing it. It's been doing a whole career resurgence 180 for Charlotte. I think if you put the tag belts on them, then that, hopefully neither of them get injured, because we know the curse with the tag belts, but I think that would be great. I'd be okay if the Judgment Day won, because I think Raquel's doing great work with Roxanne and whoever she's with. But that being said, it just makes so much more sense to give it to Charlotte and Alexa. Tiffany versus Jade. This is a tough one because every single source I hear, they not only say that it's going to happen, but they believe and they want Jade Cargill to win the title. I don't think that's a fan consensus. I think that there's been a lot of issues, and I think that there's a certain crowd of wrestling fans that say that if you don't root for Jade, then you're racist, which I find crazy. I just, I have not made this opinion known yet on this podcast, but Jade is not bad. Let's be clear right now. I'm about to say some bad things about Jade, but let's just say that she is not bad. She is better than most women that work wrestling. That's a fact. But to say that she's top dog, to say that she's better than most of anybody else on these rosters, nah, especially not Tiffany. Her promos are bland. Her moveset's the same every time. It's very repetitive. There's no connection, and I feel especially with the way she's talked to the crowd in the past week or so, I'm like, you should just make her a heel, because she clearly has disdain for the crowd, and we clearly have disdain for her in return. That's my opinion on her. I'm not going to try to push that any further. I just think that she's a great wrestler, and I wish that there was other things done, like a mid-card title, or I don't know, some kind of evidence of like something different from just ending the whole entire sequence of kind of like messiness with the big boot and the finishing move, you know. So I'm hoping Tiffany wins. That's my pick. I'm picking Tiffany. Tiffany should win. They should continue to push Tiffany. If you really think about it, like the only thing that people would be excited for Jade is that if Jade wins, then they'll do the crown jewel title match between Jade and Naomi, which I don't think you really need. I think Tiffany versus Naomi would be even better because there's history there too. So night one, Saturday, will end off with Gunther versus Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that this is just going to be a banger. You know, there's a lot of speculation for what could happen, and of course everybody's like, dude, CM Punk could win. The only reason I don't want CM Punk to win is because Gunther should be getting that demon run right now. And although Gunther can always look strong, Gunther can always do good, he can always have a good program, you gotta continue to make him look strong. He's even doing so good that like people are so dumb to keep chanting "you tapped out" against like when it's not even Jay in the ring, it's not even remotely close to what he's talking about, and it just doesn't make any sense. I get it, they're trying to get a rise out of him. It's just dumb, and he's really good at like swaying that. And I mean, that's top level game shit right there. So I think that he keeps the title, and I don't know where that sets Punk up though. I really have no idea. The Rollins thing really put everything through a loop. When Rollins is around, you could make a lot of guesses, but what happens after Gunther Punk, I really don't know. That being said, though, we know it's going to be a good match. It's just about who's going to do what with the title afterwards, and I think Gunther, because Punk, both of them can make good programs at anything, but Gunther is. If you don't watch Not Sam, I suggest it. It is the best description I could say is that he is the dream killer, the reality bringer. He lets you know that like you guys can eat all day, you can ooh-ah, you can OTC, you can Cody Rhodes. I'm going to chop it down. I'm going to choke it out. I'm going to beat it. I'm going to run through it. He is going to destroy it. And that's awesome to me. And I know that's not as exciting as many other things, but that is a heel. That is a top heel right there. So I think Gunther takes it. Oh, I skipped over Roman because I don't think that they're actually third on the card, but I could be wrong. Roman and Jay versus Braun and Bronson. Gotta go with the Tribal Chief and the Yeet Man on that. But Braun Breaker breaks everything. Everything. And shouts out to him for stealing Roman's promo. This was your ring. This is all mine now. You said this was all yours. This is all mine now. That's my cameraman. This is my ring. This is incredible work by Braun Breaker. I just did everybody. Cody, Roman, Paul Heyman, just Logan, Undertaker. Dudes constantly put this man over on the mic to let you know that he is for real the top dog, the next big thing. So I think that Braun ends up pinning Roman. I just don't know though. I just don't know because they need to find a way to. I think they're trying to set up for a Roman versus Braun. So we'll see. But I do think that Roman and Jay. I want Roman and Jay to win. Highly possible for the Bronze to win that match. Let's talk night 2. If they're opening the show with that tag team title match, that's insane. But we have a TLC 6-pack title match. The Street Profits, you got the Motor City Machine Guns, the Wyatt 6, DIY. You got Fraxium, which, God, please bring back Fraxium's old song. And then you got Andrade and Rey Fenix, which, get a name for your tag team, guys. You got the entrance, you got the gear, get a name. I mean, that match is just going to be mayhem, right? I mean, like, finally, an incredible tag team match on a PLE. That it's not just a tag team match, it's like the biggest tag team. It's the biggest TLC tag team match, title match of all time. Picking a winner is extremely difficult. I'll say who I want, which is Fraxium. Greatest tag team on this card, period. It's probably going to be the Wyatt 6, though. They just got the titles, and unless they want to just completely, again, diminish their run and start over again, then do that. You know, and if they do that, I think they either give it to Fraxium or Andrade and Rey Fenix, because they're such a good, like, I keep hearing them say it on commentary. The crowd loves them. The crowd can't get enough of them. The people of the world. And I'm like, well, if that's true, I'm probably going to give them the titles. All right. Becky Lynch versus Lyra Valkyria. I don't care. I don't care who wins that match. I think it's going to be a good match. You know, I'm tired of watching them wrestle. I'm pretty sure Lyra's going to get it back. And then Becky's going to come for it, maybe? I don't know. We're just going to leave that one as it is. We'll just see. I will accept it and eat my words if that match is like match of the night. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I believe they can do that. But the match I'm looking forward to, Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, AJ Styles, IC title match. So, Clash in Paris is in September. So I think that they give Styles the IC title, or they have him lose to Dom in like some fucked up way, so that way they can book something for them in Paris. Reality is I don't care what they do with AJ in Paris, as long as he is there as a babyface in Paris. I need the phenomenal chance. I need him enjoying it. I need to see that camera bouncing and AJ smiling. Thank you. So whatever happens here, personally, if you ask me who's going to win, I'd tell you it's Dirty Dom. It's not just Dirty Dom. It's Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom. Okay. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu. It's Fatu all day, baby. Solo Sikoa's, I mean, he just gets better and better. Adds elements to his character every chance he can. Jokes, movements, facial expressions. I mean, he really does have the face of The Rock and Rikishi, like dead ass. And he uses it. I think he's starting to see he can use it a lot more. And it's tough because it's like, man, I want this man to be like on TV all the time. I want him to constantly be on the microphone. But the role he plays, you know, who's to say? But he is the U.S. champion. I don't know if I like the whole MFT thing. I haven't been able to speak on that too much. But going into SummerSlam, I think Solo retains. Because again, Jacob can do anything. I mean, he's been tagging with Jimmy right now. He can literally do anything. So, but with Solo, same. He can do anything. But if you want to keep that credit up with the MFTs, gotta have that. All right, last two matches of the night for the Sunday card. Triple threat, Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Naomi's taking that. I mean, again, just got the title. She's on a character development that is unlike any woman in the division. Such a great heel turn that's like fun and heelish. Just so great overall. And it's like, if you flatten that right now, not a good idea. Again, Io, Rhea, if they lose, just put them in a match with each other. Fucking make a program out of them two. Who gives a shit, you know? And I mean that in the most respectful way. But Naomi, she got to hold on to that title for at least till after Crown Jewel. And then, of course, the main event of main events, the big speculation, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Blah. This is a tough one, I'm going to be honest with you. This is hard to break down. I'm telling you who my pick is because, as always, you go with QB1. You always pick Cody Rhodes. You bet on Cody Rhodes no matter what. It's all speculation is why this is hard. Because everybody's been speculating that John will turn babyface, or at least somewhat turn babyface, and he will lose that title at SummerSlam. And it could even be a double where, you know, they both kind of start turning, or they both actually turn, double turn. But it's so unlikely. And if there's one thing that WWE likes to do right now, is they like to hear what everybody's saying, and if they can sway it in a way that they'll still make everybody surprised and happy, or at least keep the story going, oftentimes they can. Sometimes they do that and they fuck up, but I just don't know. I thought I knew, and then too many people were speculating the obvious, which is that Cody wins, John gets to turn babyface again and starts finishing off the tour as a babyface, which is what we all want. We all do want the tour to finish off as babyface. But then he added the street fight stipulation, and then he made John sign the contract, and it's all these little factors in the time and era of Everything Counts that were like, what could this possibly mean for the match? What could happen to Cody? What could happen to John? What could go on that makes things happen after SummerSlam? It has so many ramifications. It has so many consequences that for anybody sleeping on this match going, well, it's Cody John too. It's going to be... There is no more Travis Scott. We are done with that. This is... If there's any interference at all, it's going to be The Rock, or it's going to be someone that's prominent to the story. So we'll see. This is big things. And you have my picks now. Again, night 2, I'm going Cody, Naomi, Solo, Dom, Lyra, and I'm picking Fraxium for that tag team match. On night 2, I'm going Karrion Kross, Randy, and Jelly Roll. I'm going Roman and Jay. I'm going Charlotte and Bliss, and I'm going Tiffany, and I'm going Gunther. Those are my picks. Thank you so much, guys. Seriously, if you're watching this episode right now, if you got this far, genuinely thank you. And I'm happy to be back. I love professional wrestling. Please talk professional wrestling with me in the comments. Hit me up. Let me know what you think about what I'm saying. Let me know if you think I'm full of shit. Let me know if you think I'm spot on. Let me know what you're excited about. What you think is, what you're speculating will happen. Let's get the conversation going. Let's grow up kayfabe together. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Happy to be back. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.